So in conclusion, concerning the laboratory assays for heat, so they are necessary for confirming heat, but they can be also useful when immunogenicity or pathogenicity of newly introduced heparins for the risk of heat need to be assessed, because in this case I think the first step will be to assess the capacity of heparins to generate antibodies. Now the antibody must always be analyzed according to the patient clinical context, and I will come later on the absolutely necessary to combine the clinical score with the laboratory data to conclude to the diagnosis of heat. When heat is, and these laboratory assays are very useful for choosing the right therapy and managing the patient when heat is suspected or confirmed. So these assays, they identify the potential cause of heat, not directly their pathogenicity, even if the platelet activation assays have a higher value for their association with clinical effect of heat antibodies. So now I think the consensus now is that IgG isotypes and activation assays using wash platelets are the most sensitive and the most specific for their association with clinical heat. So the required material for studies for validating an assay value is to work with a defined panel of plasma with heat, okay, and to use their inhibition with the studied heparin, and now most of the heparin studied concerns low molecular weight heparin. We can also use plate scores with PF4 and the assayed heparin at different concentrations in order to see their capacity to generate immunoreactive complexes with the different plasma from heat patients. And we have to keep in mind that heparin contributes more to expose PF4 neoepitopes, and it has no antigenicity by itself. It is its capacity to bind to PF4 which is responsible for the risk of generating antibodies or binding antibodies when they are present. So now concerning the value of CSS, the clinical heat is always with IgGs, but when we assess the risk, we should not forget the other antibodies which can be developed and which can be relevant in some cases. And in this case, longitudinal studies are necessary for analyzing the generation of heparin-dependent antibodies in treated patients before concluding to similar or different immunogenicity of heparin. I will now complete the diagnostic assays which have been present here on how to use these assays in combination with the clinical score for doing the diagnosis of heat in patients. So the diagnosis of heat is first established by the 40 scores which was proposed by Warkanting and which is on a scale from 0 up to 8. Another point is the platelet count kinetics, which is very important, and it is usually the first alert signal when it goes below 100 giga per liter or decreased by more than 30 or 50% on two successive counts. And this diagnosis of heat also must associate the clinical probability with the laboratory testing, and it is better, if possible, to combine two laboratory assays, one immunoassay for testing antibodies to PF4 heparin, and a platelet activation assay for testing the antibody capacity to activate platelets. So this slide summarizes the 40 score from Warcantin, which is established with 4 different criteria in patients: occurrence of thrombocytopenia, the timing of platelet count fall or other sequelae, the occurrence of thrombosis or other heparin-induced clinical complications such as necrotic skin lesions, and the presence or the absence of other cause of thrombocytopenia. When the response is no doubt yes, then there is a score of 2 for each point. When it is intermediate, the score is 1, and when it is rejected, the score is 0. For thrombocytopenia, if platelet is below to 100 giga per liter or the fall is higher than 50%, the score is 2. From 30 to 50% fall between 2 successive platelet falls or very low, as suggested from other drug-induced thrombocytopenia, then the score is only 1. And the fall is moderate, below 30%, or very low, below 10 giga per liter, then the heparin-dependent antibody trigger can be excluded, and it is 0. The timing is also very important. Between 5 and 10 days or less than 1 day if former exposure to heparin within the past 100 days or quarter. So the score is 2. When it is not so clear, it is only 1. And when the platelet counts falls without association with recent heparin introduction, then it is 0. For occurrence of thrombosis, when there is a new thrombosis occurring concomitantly to thrombocytopenia and heparin therapy or skin lesions, then the score is 2. When the association is less obvious, it is 1. When there is no thrombosis, it is 0. And now, for the other causes of thrombocytopenia, if there is no other cause for platelet count fall, then the score is always 2. When it is possible but not evident, it is 1. When there is a definite other cause of thrombocytopenia, such as an antibiotic therapy or another drug which can induce thrombocytopenia, then the score is 0. And we have to summarize the different scores. And when the total is 6 to 8, the probability is high for having hit. Between 4 and 5, it is intermediate. And between 0 and 3, it is low. And concerning now the laboratory assays, the highest incidence of positive assays is observed in this case. Then it is intermediate in this case and lower in that one, even if we find in this case also a large proportion of asymptomatic antibodies positive for the laboratory assays. So now for making a diagnosis of HIT, we need to have a follow-up of platelet count, which is the first signal, to observe the clinical evolutions and signs. And all this allows to establish the probability score, the clinical probability score, which needs to be combined with platelet activation assays and immunoassays. And even if we have many typical presentations of HIT, there are also many atypical presentations which must be taken into consideration because the clinical associations can be also severe. And a specific complex is cardiopulmonary bypass, how to recognize HIT in this complex. Because patients having cardiopulmonary bypass, they have always a fall in platelet count, which again goes up. And in those which can develop HIT, it is very difficult to recognize the occurrence of HIT. Some recent studies especially from the Driel group in Tours, France, have reported algorithm for identifying patients